Hey, Rocket Johnny here with another PC build video. And right now we're going to be populating our motherboard with all the necessary components. As always, there's going to be links in the description to all the components that we're using, so check that out. And as always, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the PC build and related videos. Safety first, we're on an anti-static mat that's properly grounded. We've got our wristband on, so we're ready to safely do this. First thing we're going to do is populate the CPU. And our CPU is the Ryzen 7 3700X CPU. So we want to pull up this little retaining bar. And to me, this is the most nerve-wracking part here. Lots of very small pins. We want to be very careful with this to not bend any of our pins. We don't want to force anything. There is a very small, you probably can't see, but there's a very small arrow indicator that shows us the orientation of it. There's also a very small arrow indicator on here as well. And again, this is covered in the manual for the motherboard, but we just want to make sure that those line up. And we want to very carefully populate our CPU. All right. So we've got the arrows aligned, and it just, once you get it in place, it just lays right in there, and then we can secure it with the bar. All right, later on in another video we'll be applying thermal paste to the CPU and adding our AIO cooler, which has its own brackets for securing it, so we're going to remove these that come with the motherboard. Just 4 screws to take out. Next up, we will be populating our memory. We're populating with 16 gigs of memory. So we've got 2 8 gig sticks. And if we consult the manual for the motherboard, it shows us exactly which slots to use, since we're not using all 4 slots. And so in our case, from left to right, it's the second and the fourth slots are the ones that we want to populate. We've got some crucial, a 16 gig kit here with 2 8 gig sticks. Our case is white, so we've got some white accents here. And of course, it's got the RGB built in as well. And one reason why I selected these memory sticks is because I had an inside tip from an engineer at AMD that this would be a more stable memory than a lot of the other memories that are on the market. So, little insider tip there. And you'll notice there is a little notch here, and that indicates how we want to populate these. So we're doing the second and fourth sticks. We want to make sure that the little notch lines up with the little notch in there, and we just slide that in. And it takes a little bit of force to get it in there. And once you have it in, then these lock it in place. And we're good. Same thing with this stick. Just make sure the notch lines up. And a little bit of force to get it locked in. Doesn't take a lot, and then we lock it in place. So we've got our 2 8 gig sticks in there, our CPU. Now the next thing that we're going to do is populate our M.2 drives. We've got our primary drive going here, and our secondary drive here. And our primary drive is a Samsung 970 EVO NVMe M.2. It is 500 gigs. And we're going to primarily be using that for our operating system. We don't want to install a lot of other applications on that, so that we keep that drive nice and clean and we keep the system running smoothly. So there's one screw to take out to get this plate off of here. And we do need our little M.2 screws to secure that in place. Alright, so we've got our M.2 screw here. So we insert this at about 30 degrees, and it will kind of want to stand up a little bit. A little bit of force there, not much. And then we can lay this down and secure it with the screw. And these NVMe M.2 drives are going to be very fast, so it's perfect for our operating system. And then our secondary drive will be for our fun applications, things like games, could be photo editing software, video editing software, those kind of things, so that we keep our primary drive with our operating system very clean. And we want to, there's a little cover here, this is for thermal. We want to remove that before we apply it back onto the M.2 drive. There's a little clip here where it kind of hooks in there, and then it comes down on the drive. We secure it with the screw. Alright, so the primary M.2 is installed. We can install the secondary drive here. Our secondary drive is a crucial 1 terabyte drive. And there is on this board a third M.2 slot if we wanted to populate that as well. And once again, we just slide it in. A little bit of force there. And this time the screw here will actually hold the drive in place. Again, we want to remove the cover for the thermal contact, and this just goes right like that, and we secure it with our screw. And that is all we're installing for now on the motherboard. So we installed our CPU, our memory, our primary drive, and our secondary drive, both M.2s. We can remove these covers here, these little protectors. And we want to remove all the things. This one's actually covering the fan, so we want to make sure and remove that. This is the fan for thermal relief for the drives. All right, we are ready to go.